A tunnel is only a hole on its side. Chapter 1. Cold Awakening. He wasn't sure if it was the cold or the worry. Either way, Colin was denied sleep. Fitful, he tossed one way then the other. Beside him, Izzy slept. Judging by her deep, rhythmic breathing, she was in a far better place. The clock had only moved on 15 minutes since he last looked. 5 o'clock dead on. If I get up now, I'll have my VAT tax return done by breakfast. Not an exciting thought, but one that came round every 3 months, accompanied by, I hate VAT returns. Pulling the covers over his head challenged the cold. It was bitter in their bedroom, but did nothing to drive away his angst. I can't disturb her, it's not fair. But she is my business partner and better with numbers. He leant over to shake her. Watching her sleep, he couldn't bring himself to do it. A conversation in his head played out. OK, I'll creep downstairs, do the return and come back with a cup of tea. A plan. His bully took over from his thought. First one foot, closely trailed by the second, emerged from the covers. Before his body had time to follow, his feet rejoined him back in bed. My, it's cold out there. The shock caused him to blurt out the words. Realising, he shushed himself. Don't wake her. Are you a man or a mouse? He was back in his head. Hesitating before answering, it was dependent on who was asking. He dwelt on his response. Colin, now get a grip. Slippers and socks are by the bed. Your dressing gowns on the back of the door. Quickly and quietly gather them up, then head for the landing. His thoughts and actions were in sync. He made his way down the stairs, even remembering the third from the top produced a loud squeak. Stepping over it to avoid waking her, he stumbled over the next 2 treads. In the dark, he'd misjudged the distance. The bottom step came quicker than anticipated. But at least he was down in one piece, and more importantly, without waking Izzy. Passing the coat stand, he grabbed a scarf, matching bobble hat and fingerless mittens. The central heating wouldn't come on for a couple of hours. It was damn cold. The wind blowing in from the northeasterly direction made it feel like Siberia. Poor buggers, he thought. They had to live with this most of the time. Slipping into the sanctuary of the kitchen, he dressed for warmth. The Rayburn offered some solace, but against the pernicious gusts growling in around the window and under the door, it was all but useless. He pulled the table and chair as close to the cast-iron structure as he could. Pen at the ready and tea in hand, he settled into the task. Henslow church bell rang 6 times. The wall clock confirmed it. He'd sorted his input taxes from his outputs, but wasn't ready to complete the form. He wanted Izzy to check his workings first. She must have sensed his needs. Are you there, Colin? Her head came round the door. I wondered where you were. She fully entered the room. How long have you been here? He realised he nearly got away with it. Only a few minutes. She didn't like it when he couldn't sleep. Cup of tea? I'm just going to make one for myself. She pulled the chair out from the table. Are you doing the VAT return? I hope you've not completed the form. She didn't trust his mental arithmetic, nor his ability to use a calculator. Show me what you've done. He didn't know if it was his maths teacher or mother speaking. Either way, he felt better she was there to confirm his calculations. A visit from the HMRC was the last thing he needed. He passed her the papers. Silence prevailed. I think you'd better go over some of your maths. These sales invoices need checking. She pushed a bundle towards him. Porridge and toast? How do women do that? From VAT calculation to breakfast needs in the same breath, without batting an eyelid. He didn't ask her. Yeah, great, thanks. Watching dawn break, was one of the few pleasures Izzy got from standing at the kitchen sink on a cold, frosty February morning. The Griggs farm, exposed to the northeasterlies, took the brunt of any bad weather. The metre-thick walls of the old farmhouse proved more than a match. She felt less comforted by the house knowing it had stood for at least 400 years. The various trees, shrubs, saplings scattered around the yard were bent near double with the weight of the hoarfrost. Glistening white water vapour crystals covered branches, formed magnificent structures. Devoid of foliage, the tendril-like twigs, covered in a thick coating, lost their individuality of species, all assuming a uniformity of colour.